Okay, let's see how I'm sounding first of all. Sound check, sound check. Welcome to the 144K mass intervention of February 1st, 2026 on this full moon in Leo. We're going to make a difference and a big one. We're going to, what's the expression? Rockin' and roll it, whatever it is, something like that. You get the idea. And well done, as all that is pretty much looks upon you and seeing you, dear one, for actually stepping forward and participating, putting your money where your mouth is by your own actions. As I wait for the thumbs up that I can be heard on all three, five, whatever platforms, and as people, more and more people log on or finish logging on for those who will show up today. I have my trusty cacao, raw, ceremonial goddess cacao that my trusty supplier supplies me with. When goddess cracks the whip, you don't have a choice. So, in case you haven't noticed, unless life really is comfortable for you, you may have noticed the tension, background tension of this full moon intensity just growing and growing, sort of culminating over the past couple of hours or so. And awesome, Paddy from Australia. Lovely. Old faces and new faces. If you're new, welcome, dear one. Good on you, Cesar, and everyone else for keeping the faith. That really is garnering an enormous respect to all of you from all that is, and that's not an exaggeration. So get yourself into a comfortable position if you haven't already. So we're now part of a big part of reason for the tension isn't just because of it's a full moon, but we're in the midst of eclipse season. Totally and wholly pivotal. And the build-up is well on the way to this huge eclipse on the 17th. And this is part of what we're building and preparing to really solidify and consolidate or guarantee a golden timeline, but a golden timeline on steroids, a golden timeline that exceeds expectations, a golden timeline that will once again, courtesy of the instrumental role of the 144K at the right times, will put things ahead of schedule yet again. And we have a proven track record of that. And again, if you're new, you may not be versed or enamored with the resistance movement Intel, which is an off-world group that tells us what's going on behind the scenes, among other great sources. That's just one of them, where things have been getting achieved ahead of schedule. And that's how you free a planet without it taking forever. It's already taken long enough. All you veterans, you tired and disgruntled veterans, you know what I mean. So take a deep breath, begin to breathe deeply and slowly through your nose. That allows you to get into that alpha state. And for those of you who have your own, consciously work with your own personal guides, you can go ahead and call them in now. And yeah, even since yesterday, it's been intense. We did the personal false AI Saturn karmic contract removal and mass healing on all past life moments where we had failed in a very engineered, controlled way, had failed our soul missions in past lives. And that was a very deep, intense healing that left a lot of people kind of woozy and unsettled because it triggered such a mass detox. But it's so important that we're going to add an extra 5 minutes to the finished edited guided audio from yesterday's webinar that'll make it even better. That will really leave you truly feeling confident, calm, and peaceful at the end of it. Alrighty. Again, if you're new, open up your spiritual paradigm to something far beyond you've ever experienced before, to be able to welcome and receive what is essentially expanded abilities. And that's what the 144K is all about, to accelerate planetary liberation, which is to expand personal abilities for your own healing and benefit, not just for the sake of planetary liberation. Okay, detach, let go. Feel the energies of as if you're taking a nice, enjoyable, relaxing stroll through the park. That's the kind of energy. But also with a sense of curious adventure. Because over the next 2 weeks between now and the 17th of February, which is the eclipse, new moon eclipse, there's going to be some mass deletions going on behind the scenes of this planet that have kept it imprisoned, controlling our lives to at least to a large degree. We say no more. So simply by intent, let go of the left hemisphere of your brain and activate or move into the right hemisphere of your brain that knows no limitations, has no limitations really, technically speaking. And Pablo Picasso certainly knew that, hence his famous quote, everything you can imagine, quote unquote, is real. You can do anything you want with your consciousness. So let's begin and save millions of lives. And stabilize the ship. Stabilize our lives. Gain control of the energies for Goddess. See yourself in a gigantic, translucent, silver crystal ball. Anything you project your consciousness from the physical to the non-physical, is real. if you have your own connection, personal connection with Gaia, you can go ahead and call her in, otherwise follow along. Authentic Gaia, we call upon the one true authentic goddess Gaia, the center of all creation, as we've found out recently. Please be here with us right here, right now. Now see Gaia in the center of this crystal ball, and all around on the inside of the equator of the crystal ball is all the golden light bodies of your fellow 144K brothers and sisters that sure as heck know each other at the soul level or higher self level. We've been together in Atlantis and far beyond that. We've done all this before in varying different forms, I guess. So you look over to your left and your right, and you see the next few golden light bodies of your fellow 144K comrades. Ready, standing at attention, fulfilling soul mission. That's what we're about. Okay, authentic Gaia. Now shift your attention to Gaia. Authentic Gaia, can we please have your permission to take you up with us to beyond the multiverses, to managers of multiverses, specifically tasked by Source, the goddess, to corral darkness back to the light, but they do need physical anchors here at the last and final, shall we say, battleground, I guess. Last and final battleground is right here on this planet. If you're not the sensitive type or don't have a personal connection with Gaia, just feel into her energy by looking at her. See the beautiful polar ice caps, white clouds over the oceans. Okay, she's ready. And we start to move up through the layers of this universe. You notice the first few horizontal white thick layers going from top, moving from top to the bottom, around and to the bottom of the crystal ball. And once again, I know that some of you veterans enjoy racing up. The therapeutic effect of seeing that flickering light through the translucent walls of the crystal ball, of every membrane, reality, realm, density and dimension, plane. Enjoy the show. Again, utilize arguably the highest form of consciousness that we know, that this trickster matrix calls or labels as imagination, to move into the right hemisphere of your brain. It all happens in an instant. Do, don't think. And it's there. Faint images, sort of grainy images, they work just as well, and they're usually the more accurate ones. as you allow the soft, flickering sound and flickering light through the walls of the crystal ball calm you, center you, have that therapeutic effect on you. Like racing up a super fast elevator, racing up towards the outer boundary of this universe. As we're about to break through. Look all around. Look down at your feet. Look at the flickering light. In the background, Gaia in the foreground, the door, her polar ice caps. And then all of a sudden, everything goes bright white. It's so bright you have to squint your eyes, very intense. You can barely see Gaia in the middle. And we're through. It's all sort of dark again. And you see a big ball of light beneath us. That is the universe that we just left, rapidly turned into a small ball of light. And we rise above a whole ocean of small balls of light. And that all turns into another big ball of light that is the multiverse that we just left. And we rise above a whole ocean of multiverses. And that all just shrinks into a small little ball of light and disappears. Shift a bit of glance on Gaia, your fellow 144K comrades all around, to your left and right, evenly spaced, to your guides, as I quickly do simple protocols as we continue to travel up to a true position of command. Authentic heart, we call upon the one true authentic light beings of heart. Please make sure we go to you when no one else true heart. Shift your glance from above Gaia you look up through the roof of the crystal ball, and all of a sudden you see a little so distant point of white light sun to appear and emerge through the roof of the crystal ball, and it gets bigger and bigger, beginning to light up the roof of the crystal ball. Yeah, this is big, folks. Expand your mind. Expand your consciousness is a better way to put it. And now the whole roof of the crystal ball is lit up. And we finally reach it. We come to a sudden, yet somehow gentle stop. And we slowly, lovingly, gently move through this platform of light. Gaia in the middle as it lovingly envelops this crystal ball. And it closes at the bottom. Opens up at the top. It's all done nice and slowly because, especially for new people, there's a decompression that needs to occur to adjust to the super high frequency. All right. We nestle gently, gracefully on this platform of light, although it always seems to disappear. We now form a straight line. Behind and a little above Gaia. Facing one direction in unity and solidarity. Because there is only one direction to go. And now the crystal ball peels evenly, slowly from the very top center. Again, nice and slowly to allow for that a more gentle decompression. All the way down. Again, if you're new, be in that meditative state whilst holding that internal, non-trying, effortless visual. If you're having trouble, just ask your right hemisphere brain or your guides, just show me how, but remove effort. It just doesn't work that way. It's all instantaneous. You can do it. Okay, when that's all gone, peeled all the way down. Alrighty. You look up, you're going to spend a couple of minutes going even deeper. Through an even deeper level of the now. The now is your portal to not just your intuitive and psychic abilities, but to your soul and your higher self. It's through the now, through non-trying, where you really let go. So use the same principle of kind of losing yourself in the now, completely letting go of linear time and the 3D matrix around you. And look and feel the unique energy signature of these managers of multiverses. They're very, very translucent beings of light, with the essential sun of source sort of in the middle of them. And kind of meditate with them or on them as you look at them and connect with them. Now, the further away in density any light being is, the more subtle their energy is. So just pay a little bit of attention to subtle energy in the center of your head where some of our psychic senses are. Just for a minute, let go, because it all happens sort of unexpectedly, when you really let go. Okay. So with them, looking at them, feeling their energy, or waiting to feel their energy for that matter, go truly deep into the now. The nowest now, you can now go. This is real deal, extreme power here. Authentic Heart, please send us a massive wave of your energy so we can truly feel you to an undeniable, unmistakable, physical level. And remember to breathe in deeply and slowly through your nose, quite important. As you go deep into the now, the ultimate portal of them all, outside of this, that gets you out of this matrix. This, of course, effectively begins the mass meditation. Just being with them upgrades your aura, helps you accrete more light, shifting your direction. Just being with them helps clear your field. Cool little freebie just by participating in 144K mass meditations, especially with these managers of multiverses. Authentic gods, send us a massive wave of your energy into our hearts. Engage the heart. Let's now gently centralize. ourselves in the heart center. And have a little bit of background attention, a small amount of background consciousness on your chest or heart center or even sternum. Sometimes we feel them through the sternum, at the physical level anyway. And by being really present with them, they can get through any noise in our auras, in our field. That opens up communication. They have a very unique energy signature. And it's very important to establish your own connection with them. And of course, working with them multiplies the power and impact of our mass meditation by a good 100 times. That's being conservative. And apologies to you sensitives out there who have to hold on to your seat. Nice. Okay. All right, shift your glance slightly to Gaia or your guides while I quickly call in the rest of the teams. I call upon the infinite army of the authentic amalgam of the Oberon lineage. I call upon the elders of the amalgam. We call upon the team of beings that created this universe and the very unique phenomena known as physicality as the ultimate and final plan of finally corralling all dark back to the light throughout all that is, that presents itself as one man, a golden being of light, Oberon. We call upon you now. And you can see him off just on the other side of Gaia, off to the right perhaps. Okay, repeat after me, everybody. I call upon all of my higher density levels, higher self. See him or her. Next to Oberon. Connect. Repeat after me. I call upon the entirety of my soul. And see what looks like a bright white star appear up above, just above the HOD. Connect. Repeat after me. I call upon my authentic oversoul. And see a bigger ball of light emerge behind your soul. You can choose a different color to represent it, to differentiate. This is what gave birth to your soul. Repeat after me. I call upon my authentic I am presence. And see a bigger ball of light, back to white, appear behind your oversoul. This is mass concentration of light. As always, for bigger impact, but your consciousness has to open up to comprehend that, to then receive. The mind can't receive and actualize, for that matter, what it can't conceive. So conceive it, know it, allow it. As we're about to multiply the power and impact and timeline shift in direction of this mass intervention by another 100 by going to omnipresence extremely deliberately, operating from omnipresence. Now look up at your I am in particular and HOD, and just repeat after me. Take me to the space and place of omnipresence with Gaia. Look down at Gaia, and then all of a sudden there's a very bright flash of light. You have to squint your eyes yet again. Again, this is mass concentration of light. You can barely see Gaia in the middle. Such light, once again, clears your aura if you allow it. And with it, the bright light disappears. We henceforth work from omnipresence. Now, one surprisingly little known secret source to really working with energy and really channeling boatloads of it to change your life and change the world is effective communication and sharing of energies and impressions, emotions, imagery, experiences with all the upper density light beings that you and I work with, and truly sharing that with them. But it can only be done if you're truly present with them when you're conveying things to them. As always, done through the now. And real energy work that really goes places and makes a difference in your life. At least a third of it, if not half of it, is spent sharing, communicating of one form or another, whilst being present with them, so that what you're trying to get across to them successfully works its way through the layers of the noise and any blackness of our auric field, and therefore reaches them. So on this occasion, we're going to spend a couple of minutes being proxies, acting like proxy for all of surface humanity. What you'll do is share your own personal experiences of these intense energies while you're looking at them. And again, you don't have to see them perfectly at all. As long as you have some background consciousness on them, show them the energies, the experiences, especially negative emotions that are a lot more universal than you think. And then we're going to get them to clear them through the collective as proxies, and then down to the root cause. Again, this is where you want to take your time. There's a powerful energy healing skills you're picking up here, learning or improving upon. So go really deep ironically detach, non-trying, move into the right hemisphere of the brain through quote unquote wildest imagination, and really throw caution to the wind here and share with them whilst being truly blissfully present with them. Everyone, especially Starseeds, has to know, must have this ability. Good news is you don't have to get it perfect at all because they can pick it up within a second. So what happened to you, even if it's just feeling intense energies leading up to this mass meditation, including yesterday and the day before? What's going on? Show it to them. Share it with them. They need to access that and then work through us. Again, this is why, hence, the power and effectiveness of 144K mass meditations. So I'll be quiet for a couple of minutes while you have at it through true presence with them so they can receive. Now, I know some of you will be prone to showing them external 3D political events, societal events, which is fine if it's your sole purpose. But what you'll want to show them is any feeling of fear resonance, or anger resonance for that matter, or sadness resonance. That's what they really work with. Geopolitical developments and events, that's child's play to them. So I wouldn't spend too much time on that. They can easily take care of that. In spite of the fact that things need to play out to wake up the unconscious majority. And once again, say, authentic teams, authentic HOD, see this, feel this, and share, let it out with them in their presence. Hold that in the background of your consciousness. This is a critical and powerful ability to have and practice that. It allows them to get deeper. That AI machinery, way beyond our conscious awareness or visual psychic sight, let alone physical sight. This allows them to get down to the nitty. Forget about the now. Forget about linear time. Completely lose yourself in the now as you're doing this. This is using extreme power you're tapping into. Because we're sort of searching for the thing that matters most, that will make the biggest difference. Even if it's just a basic raw emotion that's always pervading your day-to-day experience, that's plenty. They just need to feel it by you showing it to them so they can track it all back to where it's really coming from. As they continue to scan and scan and scan from omnipresence to get down to the lot. You as a physical anchor is needed for them to get in. That's just the way it works. Okay. Now let's place Gaia in the wide quarantine sphere so that we can't be seen or heard or noticed, and protection. Choose the visual layout in a way that works for you, as long as it includes at least two of these managers of multiverses over on the other side as they surround us, and your soul over soul I am directly opposite. Gaia in the foreground, we surround her. Omnipresence. And now pretend you're floating about. You don't have to see the golden light bodies of your other fellow 144K comrades. Quote unquote, imagine. Well, see Gaia. Pick that holographic color of Gaia that to you represents omnipresence of Gaia. All densities, planes, subspace, regular time space, outside of time, in between spaces, in other words, unspace, hidden temporal bubbles, all frequencies and levels of each plane, omnipresence, true omnipresence. And pick your color, holographic color that to you represents that of Gaia within the white quarantine sphere. Now look over on the far side, again at your soul over soul I am. Look at it and simply say, direct me. Actualize my soul talents to our fullest potential for maximized timeline upgrade. And even halfway saying that, let alone right at the end of saying that, something will already appear, because when you're working in this way, the answer is right where the question is asked. As always, be willing and open to go way beyond any reference points. That's another secret source. And whatever it is that you do see, again, typically anything dark is represented as a grey or black color. Turn it white. Now it's time to transmute. Turn it white, as always. Change the background color of the white quarantine sphere and of Gaia into a dark indigo, perhaps, to differentiate your light doing its job, which is transmutation, basically. Intensify the whiteness of transmutation briefly within a quarantine sphere and watch it disappear. And this is what accelerates, a basic idea of what accelerates, but also smooths planetary liberation. Now hold that intent, of your unique soul, purpose, talent, and therefore pre-assigned task. Hold the intent to fulfill that. For actualize planetary liberation, which I guess we'll probably start off with first contact initially. You can zoom in and zoom out. Just stay outside the quarantine sphere. We're going to just do one more round. And hold the intent on that question. Again, try to have your soul over soul and I am and two of the HOD within your periphery, visual periphery. Doesn't have to be perfect at all. And when you see something dark, seize it, seize upon it. I wish you felt that. I know some of you probably will have too. Hold the focus, turn it white. Hold the focus as you turn it white. 5 seconds later or so, watch it disappear. Again, do as thy will with background color to differentiate the white light if you need to. As always, faint images are quite often the more accurate ones. Any remote viewer will tell you that. And go deep in that meditative state, truly in the now. And allow the white light to disappear about 5 or 10 seconds later. Allow it to disappear and see what you see. And a lot of these shapes, structures, well, they're not even shapes or structures. Quite often, they're just an amorphous thing. Now, when I see something disappeared, in other words, removed, that's blocking our freedom. Quite often it leaves a magenta background, a magenta Gaia, which is her natural color. And you may see green or baby blue. And we're just going to do this for another 5 minutes. Again, take that occasional glance as or when you need to. Over on the far side, above Gaia in the quarantine sphere, on the far side is your soul over soul I am. Tune into that and then detach, because the algorithm or the right question, it shows it to you. They'll show it to you. Disappear it. Turn it white, then disappear it. This systematic, effective approach accelerates planetary liberation. All right, I felt her there again. And if you do feel kind of like an upsurge of her energy because garbage is being removed off her sacred body, if you do feel her at about the same time that I do, certainly, as always, share it in the 144K Telegram chat. This is big deal stuff, big deal difference. And if you're not in the middle of something per your unique soul, talent, and task or purpose, Again, look over on the far side at your soul over soul and I am for 5 or 10 seconds and just say, what else is denying my freedom? Per our soul mission. And see what comes up pretty almost at the same time, quite often. Because in a moment, after this round of clearing, we're going to go deeper. Okay, nice. We're just going to spend another couple of minutes on this part and really tune in and get used to working very directly with your soul over soul and I am. Transmuting your way to freedom and knowing how to do it, that's, and channeling all this light for that matter from within the physical 3D matrix, that's where it's all at. The real secret to reuniting with your galactic family, ending all the suffering, the harvesting, and all the machinery behind it. Something erupted there. So we're going to go deeper in a couple of minutes by asking an even more powerful question. And that's why Einstein would spend 95% of the time looking for the right question to solve a problem. And the remaining 5%, he would solve the problem. Go deep. You're really unleashing your power. I really mean that. Open up your consciousness to something new and something more. All right. So, something major got cleared there. Again, it's just something that was getting sucked up. Pardon me. From the South Pole to the North Pole, just sucked up, way up, back to the light. Which I'm not surprised because, December, January, Cobra did warn that there was going to be quite a few intense battles. And of course, the CMEs, among other things, Saturn preparing to move into 0 degrees of areas, which is nuts for all the best of reasons. Anyway, there's 100 other reasons, I'm sure, but there's been mass detox been going on in these last couple of months, and the light forces have stepped up their mass detox of this planet in all sorts of ways. And it's, brought up a lot of stuff. It's like taking the ultimate supplement to detox your system, your body, and out it all comes. So now, finish up on whatever you're transmuting, as we're about 10 minutes past the peak of the full moon. In other words, the peak of their BS rituals. We're going to go into the final round to really, what's the expression? Hit that home run. Okay, they found some sort of a cube thing around the core of Gaia. They just better make sure that's done. Good, got replaced by green. Let me just expand the green. Alrighty. If you're new, just keep in mind, the more we clear, the more the light forces, including terrestrial military forces, the more they can see, and the more they can locate and clear as well. It works in tandem. And we can do, in some respects, actually in a huge respect, we can clear and remove far more than the upper dimensionals can, simply by this profound, bizarre phenomena of what happens when you project your consciousness from the physical to the non-physical. All right. Now look at two of the HOD, I am, soul over soul, your guides, if you can fit them in the visual, in this panoramic vision. Gaia in the foreground. Back to a white quarantine sphere with whatever color you've chosen for her holographic omnipresent aspect, where we're everywhere at once, at all densities, down to the subquantum level, physical and non-physical, subspace, in between spaces, outside of time, the whole shebang. Just two simple things that we're going to do before we finish up. And now look at them. Put 60% of your visual focus on them. Again, the HOD, I am, soul over soul. And as you're looking at them, repeat after me. From the space of omnipresence, present all hidden portals and temporal bubbles and wormholes at all levels and densities, including outside of time and space, physical and non-physical, down to the subquantum level, null space, unspace, and shut down all portals and wormholes. They continue to infect Gaia and the collective. Turn it white. Whatever you saw, don't try to understand it. Don't try to analyze it, because that'll shut down the accurate psychic seeing. Turn it white. So anything the size of an atom or a quantum particle, it'll appear at the necessary size that it needs to appear for you to see it at the conscious mind level. That's the beauty of consciousness projection from the physical to the non-physical, although this includes the physical technically. Turn the background into a darker color if you need to see your transmutational white light. And slowly dissolve it or disappear it in your unique soul talent way. Nice. And if you just burped like I did, good on you. Yep. Hit the nail on the head. And you might get a brief impression, visual impression of a micro image of this macro level perspective that we're seeing it all. And kind of pretend is the word I'm going to use, that they're doing it through you. This is what it's all about. This is you channeling divine light, why you're even here in the first place. For another minute or so. Such is the immense power of consciousness projection from the physical to the non-physical on this planet. Hang in there. Follow through. Because we've only got one final act after this. All right. Well, a golden sphere has now appeared within or around the core of Gaia. And there was a very significant crust of garbage, portals, wormholes, concentrated on the crust and lower atmosphere of Gaia, which is unsurprising. Well, that's clear. Express divine light language. Sorry, I just had to speak to that golden sphere. That's spreading, emanating waves of, well, light, but more to the point, divine versions of light language or codes. Okay, anyone not doing anything in particular, or you've done whatever task you've done, light up, in other words, clear all the grid lines and various grids on Gaia, namely the ley lines, but obviously there's more to it than that. Just light them up. Just imagine them lighting up to really power up the light grids. While I finish this fascinating process. Okay. Nice. And now, let's quickly just visualize Gaia's grids just lighting up really brightly, all this crisscrossing line. Really light it up. All right. Now spread waves of light, golden and magenta and green and light blue, out into the atmosphere, lower atmosphere, upper atmosphere, Gaia's aura basically, cleansing it with divine light. Pretty more commonly known sort of thing. And now for our final act, zoom out a little bit, we'll finish up. We're going to go for a major timeline upgrade here. Major timeline upgrade. All right. See, Gaia, return Gaia back to that holographic color that represents omnipresence. white quarantine sphere. Look over at least two of the HOD on the far side. I am soul over soul. Yours, that is. Directly opposite you on the far side in the background. And repeat after me. Authentic HOD. Authentic I am presence over soul and soul. Oberon and guides. Scan all that is from omnipresence, beginning with Gaia. And finalize once and for all the finding and clearing of all remaining hidden machinery of a false or dark consciousness kind. The so-called AI, the highest level, and its entire systems and apparatus. Go as far back and primordial as needed. And end it all once and for all. Free this planet. Produce a massive timeline upgrade. A night and day difference when we wake up tomorrow morning. Now, I know for some of you, it would have appeared already. Because of the classic, the answer is right where the question is asked. Again, the trick is asking the right question and truly sharing and being present with whatever light beings you're working with. Let me just focus, turn it white. I found a hexagon-shaped thing within Gaia, almost reaching the South Pole to the North Pole, although size doesn't matter. It could be the size of a quantum particle. It'll still present it as something massive. Just for the sake of rational mind computation and processing. Turn it white, turn that effing thing white, transmute it. Feel the teams are working through you. This is the closing act, your last chance to transform the timelines. Good. Yeah, it's a multi-layered hexagon thing. Very interesting. When you're done removing whatever it is that you're removing, bring forth, you go into the core of Gaia, because it's something that we have to quite often fill the vacuum with or reinforce, because we're doing it more often these days. Bring forth, call upon Source, and bring forth a golden light of Source from within the central sun portal of Gaia. And you can go in now as if you're inside Gaia, looking at her core source, and bring forth the golden light. And bring it forth as an expanding, translucent sphere of golden light language and energy and frequency essence. Because I know it'll sound, well, hopefully it won't sound trite, as I'm looking at a setting sun, interestingly. At this point, the only real issue is fear. Fear itself is the only real issue, both at a collective, external, and internal personal level. And that's the only real issue. So finish up if you haven't already. And I want to congratulate every single one of you. I really mean it. Oops, something popped up, and let me just take care of that. Let me close these fellas up. There was these hexagonal shaped set of spheres, probably AI kind of spheres, that just need to be taken care of. Because sometimes there's always something that's running or created behind something else that you just cleared. She's appreciating that. Yep. Take a deep breath through your nose and just be with the heart and the teams for a minute while I finish up this unsavory little thing. Okay, there's Goddess coming out of it. Nice. Some sort of release of a woman that came out of that. Again, you will see your own thing per your soul, pre-assigned soul purpose, and based on your soul talent and task. So it's totally normal if you saw very different things than what I verbalized. And sometimes I'm reluctant to verbalize things because sometimes it can interfere with members' mind filters, if you will, and have an influence. Just be with the teams for another minute or so. Just breathe in deeply through your nose and sort of meditate with them for a brief moment in absolute blissful stillness. It's part of a way of sort of, I don't know, reacclimating back to the here and now. All right. Zoom out and just, again, you may want to darken the holographic colors and sphere of Gaia and the quarantine sphere to be able to better see the white light that you now move through. Holding the intent to remove all your energetic traces, just as a little precaution. There's another protective measure. And well done, we are done. Glance over at your soul, oversoul, and I am, and thank them at the HOD and anyone else of a higher density in nature. Thank them. We've really, done a lot here. Big achievements. Huge achievement. And as always, if you haven't already, move your consciousness back to the physical room that you're in. That's all you really need to do. And in all the right ways, we're moving into an unknown that we haven't been to in untold tens of thousands of years at a minimum. We're moving in this new direction. So if you're feeling nervous or any fear, it'll be more because of that. Because our avatars, our false identities, they tend to have a fear response to anything unknown, no matter how good it is. It's just the way that is. So again, there's ways to handle that. Use the tools or your tools that you know work best. And a huge congratulations. I really mean that. From all that is, a lot more than just our galactic brethren. We've got 555 there, nice. And do leave anything worth telling in the 144K Telegram chat, because my email inbox is impossible. And big hugs to all of you. I managed to keep it well within 2 hours this time. And because of what you did, the light forces are able to move forward much faster to, again, greatly improve, if not transform this protracted nonsense. Really well done. I look forward to seeing you in the Telegram chat. Leave your comment there, and big hugs to all of you. Much respect to all of you, and I'm saying that on everybody's behalf. Inner Earth, off-world, upper dimensionals, etc. And stay tuned, beloved ones. It'll be a mass detoxing, cleansing process right up until the new moon annular eclipse on the 17th. And that's going to be our next mass meditation. Salute to all of you. This is your loving servant, the Unknown Light Warrior, closing this physical broadcast and intervention. See you in our Telegram chat.